Alright, what's up guys? It's Haseo. We're back with another round of the official Smogon doubles tournament. This time against Cold07. I don't know them too well for doubles, but they are 2-1. So at least I know a little bit. I decided to bring another Sun team because I feel like Sun is kind of a good way of kind of checking newer players to see if they know how to do like this kind of a matchup. This one happens to be a much more offensive one, where I have the Chi-Yu. It's actually a Scarf Chi-Yu with Terra Fire, so that way I can just pressure huge damage off the bat. And then I have Walking Wake and Lilligant. Lilligant's meant to just kind of spread sleep, just be overall annoying for my opponent. And then Wake is just a fast damage dealer, and then you have the hands, the Torkoal, and the Furrygraph slow mode. Looking at this team, I actually have a pretty solid early game of Chi-Yu plus Furrygraph, I think. I could also lead the Lilligant if I want to maybe try to force them to have to respect the Sleep Powder and maybe do a redirection or force fake outs into it. I kind of want to lead the Chi-Yu though, Chi-Yu Furrygraph or Chi-Yu plus hands. More so Chi-Yu plus Furrygraph, because then if they lead the Incineroar, I feel like I'm forcing them to have to respect the idea that they cannot fake out, and then I can bring in Torkoal later. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead these two. They do lead the Tornadus plus the Incineroar. To be honest, I feel like I can just Heat Wave and switch to my hands here. I could technically just go for a Trick Room as well, because hands is just really good into this matchup in general, especially with Trick Room up. But I kind of like the idea of just Heat Waving and getting my hands out. Just getting off damage early on. They might knock me off. Do I want to knock off my Assault Vest this early? Does it really matter to me? I mean, Assault Vest is really good in this matchup. I could Helping Hand Heat Wave too, but I don't want to give up my Furrygraph. Maybe Protect's actually the best option. I'm going to Protect actually. I'll Protect my Furrygraph, try to force an attack into it. Get Heat Wave damage off on the Tornadus, because the Tornadus is a little bit of an issue for this kind of a team because you want to stop the Tailwinds early on, and you don't want to be taking Bleaks on like half this team. So getting off damage early on it, and maybe even getting a knockout if it is not Sash. But if it's not Sash, it's probably bulky. But that would still be very good for me. I don't... Oh, they Protect. Interesting. Okay, so they Protect too. I'm going for a Heat Wave. I'm going to get some damage off on this Incineroar, 17%. And they go for a knockoff, so they actually knock off my Toy Scarf, which is pretty good for them. That was a interesting play by them. I mean, it worked out for them, definitely. I'm not gonna lie, because I lost my Toy Scarf, I kind of want to just overheat the Tornadus now. I could Heat Wave again. I know they're gonna probably go for the knockoff into my Furrygraph and maybe a Bleak Wind here. They're usually, if they're Protect, that means they're probably the Sash set. A lot of my Pokemon do not want to get hit by this knockoff plus Bleak combo. My best option is obviously my hands, but it's a question of, do I want to give up all that on my hands right now? Not really. I could turn into a... Actually, my best bet might be turning my Furrygraph into a Fire type here, so that way I take less damage from the knockoff and going to my hands. So that way I can pressure big damage early on. But I kind of don't... It's hard because I really don't want to give them that much momentum. I do think the Trick Room's really good in this matchup though. I'm just going to have to go to my hands here and just sack the damage. They are slower than my Chi-Yu, which is surprising. So they're Citrus Berry. They get good damage off. And they get a U-turn off, and I get the knockout on my Chi-Yu. I kind of wanted my Chi-Yu, but this is okay because I got damage on the Tornadus, I got damage on the Incineroar. With the Incineroar, it's the main issue. Because once I deal with the Incineroar and the Bolt, then I'm in a good spot with my Torkoal. They go to Tornadus, they have not parried yet, which is kind of rough. They were slower than my Chi, which means they're slower than my Walking Wake. I can go Furrygraph again. Furrygraph should be taking anything. I can go for a Trick Room now, and I'll go for a Fake Out onto their Ogre Pawn. Because I'm not worried about anything the Tornadus can do. And let me see here real quick. I'm losing momentum fast because their lead was kind of surprising to me. I thought they were going to try to lead something more aggressive, but they led the Tornadus and the Incineroar. I usually would expect Incineroar in the back against like a Farigiraf style team. I was actually expecting the Tornadus lead. That was very surprising for me, but maybe my lead was just not it. Maybe I'm playing a little off right now. They do go to their Incineroar. I get the Fake Out off. And I get the Trick Room up. And now I am pressuring big damage on the Incineroar. Like I said, the Incineroar is kind of the big issue here. So I can just go for like a Drain Punch plus Helping Hand. The Ogre Pawn I gotta deal with at some point, but I don't really feel like I have to deal with it right this second because I can Solar Blade it later with my Lilligant. So I'm gonna actually just go for a Helping Hand Drain Punch. I actually messed up. I just realized I messed up on the spread with this hand. It's supposed to be slow hands, but I made it fast. So I'm gonna have to fix that. So I'm actually probably faster than this Incineroar, so what should be a free, like, either knockout or big damage on the Incineroar slot, it might not... Oh, okay, they're fast too. Okay, perfect. That worked out a lot better than it could have. And they go for an Ivy Cudgel, they do 40%, that's fine. So I get the Incineroar, that's one of the two big issues I need to get out of the way. The other one is still the Bolt, which I can deal with at some point. With, either putting it to sleep or with my Walking Wake. They can't intimidate me anymore, which is good for my Lilligant, because my Lilligant actually deals a lot of damage to this team. In comes the Ninetales. I kind of want to go to Torkoal and Volt Switch onto the Tails. And then go back out to my Farigiraf. I also want to... No, I'm actually going to Volt Switch onto the Ogre Pawn. And go to my Torkoal. The goal is to get my Torkoal out next to my Farigiraf again. So I can start Helping Hand doing damage. So I do protect, I get the Volt Switch off, I go back to my Farigiraf now. And they do get a nice Ivy Cudgel off on my Torkoal. Which isn't exactly what I wanted, but I think that's okay. I kind of want to go for a Heat Wave here, because nothing really wants to tank a Heat Wave. The only issue is that I kind of want my Torkoal for late game, and if they Terra, then they're going to get the knockout on it, because they got pretty good damage on it there. So I think I actually switch my hands out, and I go for a Psychic onto the Ogre Pawn, and just try to force damage onto it. They might go to their Raging Bolt here, but that should be fine. Hands comes out. Bolt comes out, that's fine. Then they do not Terra, which is actually good for me. Because now I can Drain Punch, and I can Psychic into this Ogre Pawn slot. And I don't think they have a real good switch in here for that. The Bolt can be an issue at some point. They're probably... I think they're just going for... Oh, they're just going for damage. Okay, interesting. In comes the Tails again. So they are booster. Normally I'd want to save my hands for later, but I think I just want to Volt Switch and... Because you see, this situation's hard because the Bolt is still there. I don't want the Bolt here, but it's kind of forced to just Dragon Pulse. I'm sadly not Terra Psychic, or Terra Fairy, because then I'd completely wall this thing, but... Because the issue is I don't want to go to my Lilligant and give them a free... There's so many options here. It's difficult because they're I believe they're forced to just go for dragon moves right now. They have not Terra'd yet, which is a little scary. I want to go to my Torkoal on my hand slot, but then if they just go for like a double attack here, it could be pretty bad. In general, I don't want to lose my Torkoal yet, but I don't want to give them a Veil either. But I also want to double switch. Because I don't want to give up my Farig yet, because I don't want them to be able to abuse my... Because I'm slower. I could speed tie them with this, though. This is a big turn. I think I want to... I'm already giving the boost either way, so it's not like anything changes. I think I'm just going to Volt Switch and go to my Torkoal here. I don't want to give them the Veil. They go for a Fake Tears. That's fine, actually, because now I can go to Lilligant and go to Walking Wake. And now I'm pressuring a Sleep Powder on this slot and a Fire move onto the Ninetales. So I can Sleep Powder here. I think I Fire move the Ninetales because I think I get the Torn too. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna Sleep Powder this Raging Bolt because I don't want it to just freely start dishing out damage. The only issue is I miss. A miss could be very bad for me. I'm trying to bait the Terror out though. Because if I can get the Terror out, then like I know exactly how to play this endgame. The only issue is I lost the Weather War, which is not the best. Because I kind of wanted to always have that advantage. But that should be okay for the most part. They are booster. There's the Terra Steel. They go for the Protect. I hit the Sleep Powder, which is huge. And now, actually, because I hit that Sleep Powder, I can go for a close combat onto this Bolt. This Bolt's never really a threat to me anymore. We are probably speed tying, which is a little scary. I can close combat the Bolt, though, and I can go for a Flamethrower. The Kyurem comes out. Close combat goes off. I do a lot of damage on both their Pokemon. I'm always faster than this Kyurem. I'm always threatening damage onto the Bolt. So I'm going to go for another close combat. I'm going to go for a Flamethrower again onto the Kyurem. They use their Terra. They're going to go for a Protect. I get the KO onto the Bolt. Or onto the Kyurem, which is good for me. In comes the Ninetales again. I think I just want to close combat the Bolt again and go for another Flamethrower on the Ninetales. I still have my Terra for late game, which I think is good. Close combat's good here. They're not getting the one shot on me. It's probably a speed tie. Flamethrower should get the Ninetales, I believe. Do I need my Terra for anything else, or can I try to maybe go for a Stellar Terra KO onto the... Yeah, I think that's fine, because I don't think I need my Terra for anything else besides... Yeah, no, I don't need it for anything else, so I'm just going to Stellar Terra here. I do win the speed tie, I get the double knockout. And now I should win this game. This was a weird endgame. I'm sorry, I don't think I explained my thought process too well, but this was kind of just a weird all-around game I had to play with my opponent, where I had to kind of like respect what they could do. I'm just gonna Flamethrower, they're slow, close combat. I'm faster, so I always get the knockout here. Actually, they got the speed drop, so I'm not faster, but they can never KO my Burgraf. But yeah, so the endgame was weird because I had to respect the Bolt a lot, and they got really good early game pressure on me with their lead. They led very well, and to be honest, this wasn't the best matchup. So I had to like respect a lot of the Terras. I had to respect the fact that they could always like maybe turn into a +1 special defense water type Ogerpon, and I didn't have the best utility against that early game, especially by setting up Trick Room. Yeah, this didn't feel as good as I wanted it to feel. It felt a little up in the air. I ended up getting the win, which is good, but I feel like I had to really work for it. And this kind of team, you kind of just want to sweep. But I got the win, so we get game 1. That's great. And I'll see you guys for game 2. Alright guys, here we are for game 2. I'm up against a more physical spam team. They have the Gouging Fire, which is meant to howl up for your Ogerpon, for your Dragonite, for all of your Pokemon really. And then they have the Tinglu, which is meant to set up hazards. And then from there you kind of force switches until you whittle them down and just beat them down with very strong offense. I'm running a more unique team. I stole this team from SMB, who ran this earlier. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was kind of fun. They have the Cleavor, they have the Iron Defense, Heatran, and the idea of it's just to kind of late game set up your Heatran with Iron Defenses and just sweep your opponent by them not having enough damage to really pressure you. And I think it's pretty solid into this. I just have to deal with the Ogerpon and the Tinglu, and usually these teams like to lead the Tinglu, so I'm going to go for the Cleavor lead which is typically what you lead on this team. And I kind of want to lead the Grimmsnarl as well, so I'm going to do that. Game 1, I felt like the early game was pretty strong. I felt like they kind of messed up a little bit in the mid game, not switching out when they could have, and ripping the Terra pretty fast with their Raging Bolt when I felt like I really wanted to Sleep Powder that slot. It kind of just gave me too much momentum in the late game to really come back from for them. Especially because their Pokemon were all kind of EV'd to be a little slower, it seemed like, a little more bulky. So because I was dishing fast damage, even though I messed up the early game, I was able to come back because that team hit so hard. But because I felt like they had a pretty good early game, and they kind of had a good understanding of at least how to pressure those more hyper offense, cheesy teams, I wanted to bring something a little more unique and diverse with things they might not know how to handle, like screens and like Cleavor. Like Cleavor is something you don't usually see. It's not the best Pokemon, but it's not a bad Pokemon. It's kind of in the middle. And yeah, they lead Dragonite plus Chen Pao. I actually have the Choice Scarf on my Cleavor, and normally I'd want to set up a Stone Axe. I still kind of do, actually. I kind of want to Stone Axe the Dragonite, because I feel like I can deal with the Chen Pao a lot easier than the Dragonite late game. They could go for a double into my Cleavor, which would be kind of annoying. Which they probably should, actually, with like a Terra Normal double into it, but then I can just bring out my hands. So I'm fine with giving it up if I can get the Reflect up. Yeah, I think going for this Stone Axe here on the Dragonite early on and going for the Reflect is the best play, just because even if I do give up my Cleaver, I get the Reflect up. And like I said, they're a fully physical team. So yeah, here's a Extreme Speed. Actually into my Grimmsnarl, which is surprising. Oh, it's because they have the Ice Shard. Okay. That makes sense. That's not the best for me, but at the same time, it's not the worst, because I get my rocks up, and now I can kind of freely bring out my Heatran. And even though they can go for like a double into my Cleavor, I think that's okay. I haven't revealed that I am Choice Scarf yet, so I think I could just freely go for an Iron Defense here. They go for another Extreme Speed. They don't KO my Cleaver. I get the Stone Axe off, and I get the defense boost, which is good for me. I can now go for my Sinistcha and go for a Magma Storm onto the Chen Pao. The reason for this is they should just attack into my Cleavor here. And even if they're Sacred Sword, I will take it. The Extreme Speed did so much for my Grimmsnarl, I want to believe that is Choice Band, because I'm pretty physically defensive on my Grimmsnarl. And I don't want to Terra yet. I don't want to rip the Terra yet. Even though ripping the Terra here would probably be good. Is it good here? Actually, I think it is. I'm going to go to my Sinistcha and I'm going to rip my Terra now, because nothing on their team really wants to fight a Ghost-type +2 Heatran. I think Terraing here actually just kind of solidifies the game, because I'm not taking as much damage. And if I hit this Magma Storm, then I get the Chen Pao for free. Especially if their Dragonite is Choice Band. I'm trying to cover it for just in case it's not. I'm not doing calcs right now. I should be. But that looked like Choice Band damage. And so going to Sinistcha should allow me to just force this Dragonite not to do anything. They'd have to go to maybe their Tinglu after this. We'll see. So I go for the Ghost Terra. They go for Extreme Speed again. They don't get the knockout. They go for the Throat Chop, which is crazy by them. But I do get the knockout now on the I get the knockout now on the Chen Pao. And they lost their Sword of Ruin. And now, like I said, I'm a Ghost type. I'm +2 defense. I don't know how they handle this. I also have Rocks up now, which is slowly just going to whittle down things like the Gouging Fire. Gouging Fire isn't doing anything to Heatran anyway, because they usually run Breaking Swipes, Howl, and a Fire move with a Protect option. The only issue is I can't just freely go for the... Oh, they go to... Okay, that's interesting. I was not expecting them to go to the Tinglu here. I'm just going to go for a Body Press plus a... Do I want to go for a Body Press? Typically, if you go to this Tinglu, it's because you want to try to Whirlwind me out, and I don't want them to Whirlwind me out, so I could actually Rage Powder and go for a Body Press here. They go to the Doggy. I Rage Powder, I go for the Press. Do they whirlwind me out? No, they taunt. Interesting. Okay. That's fine because I think the gotcha plus the body press is enough to just get the knockout here. On the Ting Lu. Okay, they get the crit. That's not good. This game was over. And now it is not. I do get the burn, which is good. But it doesn't help in this situation as much as I wanted to. Yeah, that's bad for me. That's really bad for me. Especially because they're fast on the Ting Lu, which is surprising. Their knockoff, their taunt. Typically this can be the... They didn't heal. So I'm pretty sure it's either Assault Vest or... Yeah, it's either Assault Vest or... Covered Cloak. Okay, I said I wasn't really calcing, but I kind of gotta. Let's see here. Cleavor. It's 252 Adamant into Ting Lu, which is actually not a insanely bulky one, it feels like. Doubles like U-turn does 38 to 45. X-Scissor definitely gets a knockout though. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Iron Hands here, and I'm gonna go for an X-Scissor onto this Ting Lu. Just to remove it. I get knocked off. My Assault Vest does not matter here because all their Pokemon are physical anyway. And that's pretty good for me actually. Getting rid of the Ting Lu. It did do damage to me, but that's fine. In comes the Ogerpon Wellspring. I'm just gonna go for a Fake Out onto the Oki... Well, the issue is the Okidoggy could be the... Do they know I'm Scarf yet? They don't know I'm Scarf yet. I'm gonna Fake Out the Okidoggy and go for an X-Scissor on the Ogerpon, and I'm gonna hope that they don't know that I am Scarf. Because if they don't know I'm Scarf, then this should just be a free knockout. It's not. But now they're in a bad spot because something has to switch in here. Otherwise they lose their Ogerpon. So I'm gonna abuse that. I'm just gonna abuse the fact that they have to respect that I get the X-Scissor KO here. I get the Drain Punch off. They Drain Punch my Iron Hands again, which is weird. I don't exactly agree with that because... Yeah, now they go to Dragonite. But I have a free switch to my Sinistra here. I never get knocked out. I can go for an X-Scissor again. Actually, do I even want to do that? I kind of feel like I want to go to my Sinistra and heal my Iron Hands and go for a Drain Punch here. Because the goal in the end is to not allow them to set up too much with their Okidoggy so I can win late game with my Moltres. How threatening is this Dragonite? I think it's kind of threatening. I think I gotta do that. So I'm gonna go to my Sinistra. They go for an Outrage. They actually hit the hands. They knock off my Sinistra, which is a good for them. Very good for them. Not good for me. Now I gotta figure out how I can win this end game. Gouging comes out. The issue is they're gonna keep giving boosts to their Doggy. I think I got a double switch here. They might Howl and go for the KO on my hands. I think I want to try to... Do I need Cleaver? No, I don't really need Cleaver. So I'm actually going to switch, double switch here. I'm going to go to Moltres. They go for the Baneful Bunker, which is weird. They go for the Drain Punch, which is fine. That was a weird Baneful Bunker by them. They get the Drain Punch off. I think I'm going to Fake Out the Gouging and just go for a Nasty Plot here. Do I want to... Because I don't want to give him a +1 yet. So I think I do that. Because I can Nasty Plot, I can Fake Out the Gouging. Gouging won't get a Howl off. I go for... I get a +2. And then if they attack into my Moltres, I can literally just switch to my Sinistra, get healing, and have Fake Out pressure again. And if they attack in my Iron Hands, then I have Redirection. So they do attack into my hands. And now I'm going to go for the Trick Room. Do I Protect, actually? Let's see here. Moltres. So I'm +2 into a gouging. Fire. I might not get the knockout here, which would be a little scary. How about into an Okie Doggy, though? This is probably Assault Vest. I think I want to Protect, because like they should just attack into my Sinistra here. So I'm going to Protect my Sinistra, because like usually you don't run Protect on this thing, so I'm trying to bait an attack off, and I'm going to get damage off on this Okie Doggy, because it's the main threat right now. I might be faster than that. I hope I'm faster than that. 120. I think I'm faster. Hopefully I'm faster than the Okie Doggy. If I'm faster than the Okie Doggy, then it should just be a win. As long as things don't go bad. If I'm not and they attack into my Moltres, for example, it'd be a little funky. I Protect. They go for a Heat Crash of all things. That's kind of surprising. I get the Air Slash. I am faster. They go for the Gunk Shot. I get the boost now from 77. They did not do a lot of damage there. Okay, so I should always get the Okie Doggy though. So I'm just gonna Rage Powder here, and I'm gonna Fiery Dance. I should always KO the Okie Doggy. And I believe I win now because I don't think they have the chance of KOing me here with the Heat Crash. I'm very, very bulky, so yeah, I don't even think a crit gets me. It might, but hopefully they don't. And that's game. GG's. Yeah, that was a little sketchy. I literally won in the very beginning if they didn't crit my Heatran, because I could just freely keep switching to my Sinistra and protecting and healing it up. But the crit definitely made it hard. I had to play really hard for both these wins. They actually played very well. I'm very impressed with their play. That's one of the issues with playing someone you don't know too well. You don't know exactly how much knowledge they have of doubles in general. But they really did play to their outs very well. I feel like there are some situations where they could have played a little differently. Like, if they, for example, went for a Howl plus a Gunk Shot that last turn, then it could have been scary. But then you're offering a free Trick Room, possibly, if I'm slow Galarian Moltres, and also they never really run Protect on the Sinistras, so that makes a lot of sense to go for that. But yeah, I think they played pretty well, and I'm very impressed with their play. I feel like I played kind of off this series. I definitely could have played better. But alright, that was round 4 of the official Smogon Doubles tournament. I'm going to 3-1, which is a very good record. I'm very happy with that, and hopefully I can keep winning. I'll see you guys for the next series.